Welcome to the Crimson Comedy Show! Welcome to the Crimson Comedy Show. I'm your host, Andy. Today we got a very special guest today. He's a comedian, podcaster. Give it up for Riley Adams.
Woo, yeah. Thank you for having me be here, dude.
That was a weak woo. Do it louder. Come on.
I don't know. I feel like one person woo doesn't like, you know what I mean? I feel like I'm not that
Let's do it
enthusiastic
together.
about everything. Woo, yay.
Thanks for coming.
Oh yeah.
I was trying to think where we met. I was like, fuck, where did I meet this guy? But we met at the Claremont mic, remember?
Probably somewhere like
the
first
pizza one, whatever the fuck it was called.
Yeah.
But do you remember that night we met that random little Bobby Hill kid that we met?
Yeah, he was so funny, dude.
There's a comic. She's an older woman, lovely lady. I'm not gonna say her name, but
I don't even know her name.
Neither do I. But I'm not gonna get too into it. But she had brought her grandson or nephew or some random little kid. He's like 12 years old. We were outside smoking and drinking.
Yeah.
And this little kid's out here chilling with us like he was one of the boys.
Yeah.
And he just started talking crazy, telling crazy stories. And I'm like, who the fuck is this little kid? He's like 12 years old.
Yeah.
And then he was like telling us like, oh, like, yeah, I get in a lot of fights in school.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do you mean you get a lot of fights? He's like, yeah, I'm like 0-21. I'm like, that's not a good thing, you know?
Yeah.
I was like you get beat up, kid. Like, that's not.
Those aren't fights. Those are beatdowns, dude. Like, you just.
But I just remember him talking to us. I'm like, whose fucking kid is this? Then I found out he was with that older lady, and I was like, oh, okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
But what was she telling you? Like, why she brought him with you?
Because she was like outside, and like I think he was inside bothering people, and then she was like outside talking to me, and she was like, yeah, I just think, like his dad's not around. And I was like, yeah, I figured. And she's like, yeah, I just wanted him to have like a positive male role model. And I was like, I feel like a comedian is the last person I would pick as a role model for my son.
I'm not gonna lie, I was a little drunk that night, and that's when they had their unlimited beer. It was like,
yes,
you paid $20 and you get like a wristband. You get to drink for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I just remember chilling with you. That's when I met you. I forget who else was there, but this little kid was like talking our fucking ears off. And I'm like, whose fucking kid is this? Like, get him out of here. But
and he was at that age too where like, where kids just like lie to like sound cooler. So he's like there telling me like, yeah, Spider-Man came to my birthday. And I'm like, hell yeah, man, he did. He
remember he was like, yeah, I have a girlfriend, but she lives or she goes to another school.
Classic
bullshit.
Or it'll be like, they say, yeah, she's my girlfriend, but she doesn't know it yet. Okay, like I'm dating her, but she's not dating me.
Hey, but I remember being young and dumb like that. Like, I'm no disrespect to that little kid. He's just a fucking kid, But like, he just wanted to look cool in front of other people. But like you said, the lady was like, I want positive role models. Like, don't bring him here.
That's not me, dude. It's not me, dude.
A bunch of open micers at a pizza parlor drunk off of a $20 all-you-can-drink beer.
Yeah. At least bring him to like the Comedy Store or something. You meet somebody famous. I don't know.
There's some famous comics that have come through there, but it's not around anymore.
Yeah.
Jeff Garcia came through there, and some other comics came through there. They're pretty popular. Maybe LA scene, they're pretty popular.
Yeah.
Shout out to Feed the Funny guys.
Yeah, Feed That Funny, dude. Shout out Darby and Owen and Josh and Seven, dude. I started with Darby. I have like a special loyalty.
Maybe that's how I met you. Like, I met Owen first, and then he introduced me to Darby, and I didn't see him for like 6 months, and then maybe I met him from you.
Probably. It was definitely at the Feed That Funny mic for sure.
They had the new mic that they did it one time and haven't done it since. I don't know if it's supposed to be reoccurring at the Stacks, but
they said you found that, right?
Yeah, my wife did. She this is a story. She had a friend. She's like, oh yeah, they do comedy at this place right there, and then my wife was like, but I haven't seen them posting anything. So she like messaged them, was like, hey, what days do you guys do comedy nights? Because she was looking for more spots for me, because I told her that the Claremont mic went down. And I'm like, I used to frequent there. It's closer, so she messaged them, and they're like, yeah, we used to do comedy, but they don't do it anymore, so we're looking for someone else. And then she told me, like, why don't you go do a mic there? I'm like, I'm good. Like, I don't want to run a mic. Yeah. I'll do a podcast, She was like, well, I was like, well, I know Darby and them are looking for a spot. I told him about another spot that was opening, another brewery that was opening down there, but he never reached out. So I told her, I was like, get that information, and then I'll send it to them. So I sent it to them, and then it all worked out. So,
Oh, yeah.
So you can thank her. My wife's the one who set it up.
All right. Yeah.
a friend of a friend told her about it, and then they gave me the information. I didn't want it, so
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I was like, all right, Darby, you can have it. So yeah,
Yeah. You were like a foster parent for
yeah.
the stacks.
They did the first. My kids were sick the first night they did it.
Mm-hmm.
Both my kids were sick,
Mm-hmm.
so I didn't go. And then last week they had a show in Orange County, so they didn't do it. So
Yeah.
I haven't seen them post that they're gonna do it again this week. So I don't know. Like
I felt like that was I don't know the person who booked it. I felt like that was a strange decision to book all four of them on the same night. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like I don't know. It was
I did a show with her at that one spot. But when I went there that time, it was literally all comics and one
Yeah.
fucking foreign couple, some foreign couple from Canada. They were freaks.
that's
like,
wild, dude.
They were freaks. Like, and they were cool. Like they were basically the only audience besides the other comics, right?
Yeah.
After the show, they were like, the dude came up to me and said, "Oh yeah, you were the funniest dude on the set." I was like, "Oh thanks." And then he's like, "Hey, do you know where there's any strip clubs around here?" And I was like, not really. I'm not familiar with Fullerton or like Orange County. I was like,
Mhm.
there's some famous ones out here. There's pretty popular ones out here.
Yeah.
But I was like, nah, I don't know. But they were freaks because during Caesar's set, he was talking to them, and then the girl was talking about doing like three ways and coke and all kinds of crazy shit. And I was like, whoa.
That sounds like a good time, to be honest. That sounds like that's fun people, dude.
She made the dude look like a simp because he looked like a professional businessman, like he had money and shit. And she's like, yeah, I did three ways.
Okay, yeah.
She made him look bad. Like he's probably like, fuck, man. Like
Yeah.
I brought her out here to America, and she's
Just so she can talk this bullshit.
she's spilling the beans out here.
Yeah. That's like those you see like memes where it'll be like, yeah, like when your girl like drops like a diabolical hoe story in the middle of like a dinner that you paid for.
My friend sent me a meme today. It was like a girl confessing that she gave a guy a BJ for chicken nuggets.
I saw the same thing. Yeah.
I remember Maury. Remember Maury?
Yeah, of course.
There was like this random episodes where it's like, yeah, I had sex with a guy for a cheeseburger. Like this was back in the day, so McDonald's cheeseburgers were like 39 cents.
Yeah.
I understand today, since McDonald's there's no dollar menu and everything's fucking expensive. So yeah, if you gave a guy a head for some fucking a Caniac combo at Cane's, that makes sense. But I went to In-N-Out the other day, and my friend ordered this crazy fucking thing, like a fucking 3x3 animal fries and all this crazy shit. And I was like, whoa, that sounds amazing. Like,
Yeah.
I want the same thing. It was $16.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, this is the most money I've ever spent at In-N-Out. I was like,
Do you think
fuck.
that's worth some head? Do you think that's now worth,
No, I'm getting anal for $16 at In-N-Out.
Yeah.
In-N-Out used to be cheap. It used to be like $5, $6 a meal, and like that shit went up.
100%.
But
That
I
was
was
when I
like,
knew inflation was real.
but check it out. In-N-Out is worth it. So yeah, if I'm spending $16 on a girl, I want backdoor privileges. Hey, but then again, you don't want backdoor privileges after In-N-Out because that.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but that it fucks my stomach up sometimes, but it's worth it, you know.
I never understood the backdoor privilege thing. I never understood it because to me it's like, would I rather have the organ that's designed to have my penis in it, or the thing where shit comes out of it? You know what I mean?
I forget where I saw this, but it's like, why would I was in a movie or something where someone's like, why? Oh yeah, okay, it's a movie, Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Oh yeah.
They meet those Christian people on the resort,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, why would God put a sewage system next to a playground? I just don't get it. The Christian dude was like freaking out because he didn't know what to do. Like, and his wife was like a freak and shit, but he was like a square, so he didn't know how to. He was all Christian, so he didn't know how to come about it. But I was like, I'm not gonna lie, when I see that back door, sometimes I'm like, this is another reference from that movie. That guy, what's his name? Russell Brand. He was a singer in that movie.
Yeah.
He had a song. He's like, "Is it wrong of me that I wanna be inside of you?"
Oh yeah.
Every time I see the back door, I think of that in my head. Like, I want to be in there. It's like the forbidden fruit, you know?
Okay, so just because you're not supposed to, that's why.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think for me, right, and this is gonna make me sound like a retard because I am in the way I live my life. Like, so for me, like, I think part of sex that's good is like the danger inherently, right, in like what could possibly happen. Do you know what I mean? And so for me, it's like the only danger from anal is just like you pull it out and it's like a different color, you know? So for me, I don't know the danger, and I know that makes me in a way more retarded. You know what I mean?
Hey, fuck it, you know, life's a risk, you know?
Yeah.
It's funny, my wife was sending me some shit like about Valentine's Day, like, oh, you haven't asked me to be your Valentine's Day. I'm like, we're married with kids. I don't have to ask you. What do you mean? Then she sent me this meme where this guy's like writing a note to his girl about like a poem to his girl.
Mm-hmm.
So then I wrote her one. I was like, roses are red, violets are blue. My wiener is only soft when I'm not around you.
Oh, okay. That's like genuinely sweet. Okay.
I was like, is that not sweet? She's like, you're retarded. I was like, fool, I wrote that from the bottom of my heart. Like, come on. Are you married? Do you have any kids, girlfriends?
No, I have a girlfriend and two cats who I do not count as children. I think that's weird. I think that's hella weird when people are like my fur babies, and it's like, dude, you're gonna die. You know what I mean?
I have 2 dogs, right? And my wife's mom was here, like watching my kids one time, and I was talking to my dogs, and she's like, "Listen to daddy." Like she was talking to my dogs, like,
Nah.
and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Like I'm like, my daughters are upstairs. These are my
Yeah,
rats.
yeah,
I
yeah.
call my dogs my rats. They're fucking. Oh, they fucking chew on everything. They fuck up all our furniture. But yeah, but when she was saying that, listen to daddy, I was like, Grandma, come on.
Yeah.
I think I met your girlfriend. Was she at that show we did in October?
Yes. She came to the Maury show.
I said there was a girl. There was a girl and a dude you were with, right?
Yeah. It was my friend Marcelo. Because he came back from Seattle. He was in the army up there, and he came down here. So it's like I think when he was reintegrating, he would just come to like anything that anybody invited him to. So I would just kind of send out like to everyone I know, like, hey, I'm doing a comedy show, and he's like, dude, he was my only supporter, dude. So,
Yeah, because I remember meeting a girl, but I didn't know if it was your lady or not.
yeah, that's my girlfriend.
That show was cool, but I didn't like the aspect where they had kids there.
Not at all. Not at
They
all.
added that. I told him, I didn't even want to perform that night. I told him, like, why the fuck did you, like, why is there kids here? But, like, I get it. Last minute, they, like, wanted to raise money. There was a little girl with cancer. Like, I get it. She didn't have to be here.
Mm-hmm.
There was literally elementary school kids there. So when I was performing, like, my shit's dirty. Like,
Yes, I
I
understand.
told him straight up, like, I didn't even want to perform. So I had to kind of censor myself. But then at one point, I was like, told one of the kids, like, don't look, you know, like.
Yeah.
But I did a show recently where I got kicked off of because a bunch of kids showed up. It was a bar and
It
grill.
was one in Corona,
Yeah.
right? I heard about that. Yeah.
They showed up at like 9 o'clock at night, a random little league team, and in the middle of the set, like it ruined the night. After they came, they basically shut the show down. Like now they're not even doing comedy
That
anymore.
sucks,
But I'm like, comedy is not for kids.
Not at all.
Even if it's clean comedy, like you don't want a kid crying in the background. It's like being in the movies. You don't want to hear
Yeah,
kids crying, kids on
100%.
the iPad. Like it's not. It's for adults, you know.
100%.
And it needs to be respected. You need to be paying attention. Listening. Ain't no fucking kids paying attention or.
Yeah.
I took my daughters one time with me to the Claremont mic
Mhm.
because I had nobody to watch my kids. So I was like, I want to do a mic. I was like, fuck it. So I brought them with me. They sat in the back, and my daughter actually got to hear me. She's like, Dad, you're real vulgar. My oldest daughter. I'm like, my
That's
other kid.
funny.
My other kid didn't give a fuck, but I was just like, sorry, but like I honestly believe like clean comedy's not funny. I don't care who you are. I don't like.
You don't like Jim
clean-
Gaffigan?
It's I said it's not for me. You know, like
Okay.
I wouldn't pay to go see that shit. You know, like I feel like comedy is like it should be freedom of expression. Say whatever the fuck you want,
Sure.
and it could be spontaneous where like you could like talk to the crowd and then something comes up. Are you gonna always have that censor in your head, like be clean? Like imagine you're doing crowd work for some reason,
Mhm.
and then it goes off the rails because crowd work's never planned. You know, like
Yeah.
so like I don't know, like clean comedy it's okay. I would never do it. Like I love dark humor. I love
Mhm.
I guess they call it shock value or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's the point of the comedy is like, you know, like when the audience listening, they don't know where it's going.
Yeah.
So like you're shocking them every fucking time, you know, like I don't know. How do you feel about clean comedy?
I think if you can because I think so much of comedy is like writing, right? You know, so I think if you're really a good writer, you can make it work. But it's like for 90% of us, it's like, yeah, like it's not. I don't think I'm a good enough writer to be able to do that. You know,
Me neither. Fuck that.
I think you have to be more of a writer than because you know I think like the two most important things obviously I think in comedy are like like being funny. I would say that's honestly only like 25% of it, and then I think I would say another like 50% is like being a good writer. And it's like I think that like most people are not a good enough writer to be able to do it, and that's not a knock on anybody, right? Like most of us aren't, and like but for me, it's like if your comedy's just writing, I don't think it's as good as if it's a mix of both. Like John Mulaney, like I don't. That's not really my kind of style of like comedy, to be honest.
Because then you just become a comedy writer. Like there's people who don't even perform and just write or ghost write or whatever, you know? Like,
yeah. Because there's certain, it's like that's like I'm sorry, but like this is like comedy made by a man for women. You know what I mean? Like when I'm John Mulaney, I'm like this is for my girlfriend.
I took my daughter to go see Adam Sandler.
Okay.
And he was fucking amazing. So dirty. Like I'd seen his special before. And most of it was like music. I thought it was like a concert. Like I don't know if you've ever seen his specials previously, but like he does a lot of music, comedy, jokes, whatever. I went there expecting that. And then he was doing material. He did like 30 minutes material and he was doing dark and dirty. I had my daughter with me. She was like 14 at the time. I thought we were here for like a
family friendly. Yeah, like
Adam
Happy
Sandler
Gilmore.
concert, but I don't give a fuck. His shit was funny. I was
Hell
like,
yeah.
whatever, it was funny, you know.
Yeah.
But John Mulaney was there. He opened for him.
Interesting. Okay.
There was like they have Judd Apatow, John Mulaney, Rob Schneider. It was a bunch of randoms. Like it was all guest spots. So it was fucking sick. But I like John Mulaney. He's funny.
All right.
Like I said, I like him, but like I've only seen him one time, and he would do like a 10-minute spot. But that's the only time I've ever seen him perform. But maybe I was just hyped to be there. I don't fucking know.
No, I mean, if you like it, you like. I think it's just not like. Maybe it's just like the image. I like someone who I feel like at least is presenting themselves as a piece of shit. If that makes sense. Like I think that's why I like Bill Burr so much, because like he still even to this day presents himself as like, hey, I'm like a drunk retard, you know, and that kind of I don't know why that kind of resonates with me more.
Hey, turn your mic up real quick.
Facts.
Tilt it towards you.
Like right here.
No, higher up.
Right here.
All right, you just keep cutting out. You're good.
Okay.
We're getting the audio figured out.
Getting
here,
figured
but-
out. Yeah.
Hey, I'm still new to this shit.
No, me too. It's okay.
I said you have a podcast. Talk about your podcast.
Yeah, I mean it's because it's hard to explain it, right? Because like we're not doing movie reviews. It's more like I pick a movie or he picks a movie that we think is interesting and we just kind of like riff on it, you know? Like we did Pitch Black. I don't know if you've ever seen that. We did Pitch Black.
Yeah.
And we just spent like 20 minutes talking about like is Vin Diesel black or not, you know? It's nothing to do with the movie. Just
I watched a few episodes. I like the Training Day episode you guys had. I was just clicking on the movies that I knew. Like
okay.
there was a few I didn't know, but remember that one show back in the day was called like something 2000 where it was like a robot and like they would review movies and they would just do commentary.
Yes, I know. It was
Something 2000. I don't know, but they
no, it was oh god, what was his name? It was Neil Patrick Harris, right? Was it Mystery Science Theater?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of. Just basically movie commentary.
Okay.
But it's cool. I liked it because I love movies. I have a recommendation. I don't know what your guys' little Instagram photo. It's like the picture of the guy from The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
What movie is that from? That image you have?
That's from Wolf of Wall Street, because he's selling these kids like Oxycontin, right? Or no, selling Quaaludes.
Oh yeah, okay.
And he's like, yeah, tell your sister to come over here, bring a pair of her panties. He's like, let him watch. So we were like, so I was saying that, and then we were like, we should just call the podcast Let Him Watch.
I thought that reference was from you ever see Eastbound and Down?
Yeah.
Where he's Will Ferrell's character is in there and he's talking about his son walking and having sex. He's like, the boy needs to learn.
Yeah.
Let him watch.
He's the best
He's like,
character.
let
in the
him
show,
watch
dude.
like my daddy taught me. Like that's what I thought that was from.
He's the best. I love when he's talking to Craig Robinson in Black Biker Week, and he's like, you are my possession.
He's like, and then they turn on and they beat his
they
ass.
set him on fire.
Eastbound and Down. I didn't watch it while it was currently like on. I found it later on. I watched that shit like 1,000 times. I fucking love that movie. And Stevie, that character is so fucking. You could do an episode about that show.
Yeah, no, he's so funny, dude.
His character, a lot of that shit is improv, but like, I remember there's one where they were talking about his wife. He's like, "You never go down on your wife." He's like, "Nah, it smells." Like his stupid voice, like
I love it, dude.
that shit made me die. But anyways, I want to recommend this movie to you. My friend told me about this shit. I thought that image you had was from another movie, but that same character, that actor, I don't remember his name, but
John Bernthal.
He's in a movie called Shot Caller.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen that
Yeah,
movie?
that's a good one.
I just recently watched. I'd never heard of that shit, and I was like, "How have I never heard of it?" It was like from 2017, but I was like, "Fuck, this shit made me think of like American History X." Remember when he went to prison? But this movie, it was basically like that, the whole story in prison, like.
Yeah, it's like a reverse American History X almost, where it's like his journey into becoming a better skinhead.
But I talked to a friend who's been incarcerated, and he's like, "Yeah, a lot of fools end up like that. Like that story is crazy." And spoiler alert: if you watch that movie, it's like a regular dude. He goes to jail. He ends up having to join a gang because honestly, when you go to jail, they ask you, "Who do you run with?"
Yeah.
Like, even if you're not even in a gang, like they'll label you. That's just how they do it in prison, you know?
I didn't know that like so like even though California we're supposed to be like kind of like the liberal state or whatever, the California penal system is like the worst out of like any of the 50 states.
Yeah, in that movie, he's supposedly in Chino when it starts out. I don't know if you caught that. He was in Chino, but he gets transferred.
Mhm.
Chino's not too far from here.
Yeah, that's like an hour.
But yeah, he was a regular dude. He got like a fucking random DUI, accidentally killed somebody. Like he was just out for drinks, whatever, with his friends, accidentally killed somebody.
He needed some coke, dude. He needed some coke to pick him up, dude.
So he goes to jail, and then he has to survive jail. He has to like join a gang, and then he gets too into it, and then he eventually becomes a fucking like a leader of the gang. And I'm like, damn, that's just crazy. I'm like, my friend who told me he was incarcerated, like, yeah, this shit happens to people because like once you're in jail, you're on your own. You know?
Yeah.
Ain't no lawyers, ain't no fucking judges, nobody's gonna protect you. You have to protect yourself.
Yeah.
So like, the dude had to survive. He had to literally change his fucking life. Then he became like institutionalized. You know?
Yeah.
And that just story just blew my mind. So if you guys want to watch a movie, it's on Tubi for free.
I love Tubi, dude. I love Tubi.
Tubi has, you have your little movie podcast. Tubi has so many classic films on there. Like, they have commercials, but it's free. You can't complain.
I love how they present commercials now, where they'll be like, "Oh, it's like this is with limited interruptions," and it's like, don't market it to me like it's a good thing. You know what I mean? Like, don't market it to me like you're doing me a favor. Just say there's fucking commercials.
How old are you?
24.
Well, I'm 36. I'm from I'm a 90s kid. All we had was commercials. Netflix is new, no commercial bullshit, but Netflix is the only app that doesn't have commercials, but they fucking keep raising their prices.
Yeah.
I'm ready to fucking drop them because it's like, I think I got an email saying it might be like $25 or $30 a month.
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God. This is just cable. We're just back at cable, dude.
You know what sucks now too is that everything is on Peacock, on fucking Hulu.
Yeah.
So you have to have them all. Like, technically I only pay for like Netflix and Peacock. Everyone else, I have someone else's like login.
Yeah, same.
Like, Netflix used to be able to do that, but now like they know if like 'cause you have a TV at another household, they know like you can't share. So it's like bullshit. Like, say you have a business, right? You say I live here and I have a business somewhere. If I want to have my Netflix at work, like, why can't I do that?
Yeah.
They won't allow you. But it's stupid though, because you can have it on your phone, your tablet, your computer, and be wherever the fuck you want. But if it's a station TV, you can't do it.
Yeah.
Block. You're like, okay, but whatever, you know.
But like, what's gonna happen? What's eventually gonna happen? I'm guessing it's honestly gonna happen in the next like 5 to 10 years. Is, you know, goes with what you're talking about. All you need to have Peacock and Paramount Plus and all this other stuff. Eventually, someone's gonna bundle them all into one package and market that, and that's cable.
Doing that. I think Hulu and Disney are together.
That's just cable. That we're just.
Yeah.
It's because I remember that, right, when I was a kid. You know, we had like, you know, I think we had like DirecTV or something, and that was, you know, like cable. And then my dad was like, oh, my dad was a very early like, I'm doing Netflix only kind of guy, right? Like, my dad, I think the funniest thing he did is like when Blockbuster was going out of business, he went in there and like, instead of renting anything, or no, instead of buying anything, he rented like 12 DVDs, and they just closed.
Never took back.
And they just closed. Yeah.
When I first started dating my wife, we've been together for like fucking 20 years.
Nice.
I remember going to her parents' house and watching Netflix DVDs. That's
Damn,
like,
that's crazy.
I didn't know what Netflix was. Like, her mom had the Netflix DVDs, right? I liked Redbox. When Redbox came out, that was the shit. Because, like, you could buy a new movie for $1 or rent a new movie for $1.
Yeah.
And then after a while, companies stopped allowing Redbox to. You had to wait. The movie would have to be out for a certain time, and I think that's what killed them, because they were the shit. After Blockbuster closed, Redbox was the shit.
Yeah.
It's funny because Redbox went to Blockbuster and was like, offered them a deal, like, let's make a deal, and Blockbuster was like, fuck you.
Yeah, they said fuck you to everyone. They said fuck you to Netflix. Like,
and then fucking Redbox was one of the companies that basically shut them down.
Yeah.
And then Redbox, I said, once they got the thing where they couldn't allow to release new movies, they kind of died out, because like, you might as well just rent it on stream.
Yeah. You might as well just go see the movie. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I kind of like, I feel like with Blockbuster, I feel like they just kind of like got like, they were so big that they thought it was never gonna end. You know, which is why, like you said, they were just fuck you to everybody. They wanted to do anything.
You know what's funny? Like, sometimes the movies, you can rent movies. They're like $20 to rent the movie when it first comes out. And in the back of my head, I'm still like thinking Redbox dollar. I'm like, I'm not paying $20 to rent shit. Yeah. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna be to own for $25 in like a week from
100%.
now. But you know what pisses me off is, like, you'll see a movie for rental, and then a week later, it's free on Peacock or it's on HBO. So I always tell my wife, Google where it's gonna stream at, because it's gonna stream for free somewhere.
Yeah.
HBO is gonna do it. Peacock, one of them is gonna fucking do it. Like, HBO is pretty good for that. They get the newer movies mostly.
They're the best.
But I tell my wife, like, I've rented movies, and then a week later it's on fucking HBO. I'm like, motherfuckers, like, I paid $20 to rent this shit.
Yeah. I had that happen with Pitch Black when we were reviewing it. The cheapest one to rent it was on Prime, but it said on there, it said coming to Prime in 5 days, and I was like, fuck, why can't we just do this in a week, you know? But I had to buy it.
Did you like Chronicles of Riddick?
Yeah, I just watched that today. I literally just watched it today.
I remember seeing Pitch Black in the theaters, the first one. Well, how many movies is there? 3?
There's 3. So there's Pitch Black, Chronicles of Riddick, and then just Riddick.
Yeah, I don't remember the order I've seen them in, but I didn't watch them in the original order. Like, I remember seeing Pitch Black. So the the CGI is so shitty.
I know.
Like the little bats or whatever the space
Yeah,
bats or whatever the
yeah.
fuck it is. Like I remember seeing it as like when in the movie theaters when it first came out, and then like I was like, oh wow, this movie's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And then like seeing it years later, I'm like, oh my god, this is like Super Nintendo graphics.
Yeah. But that's the thing, right? Is, and I kind of talked about that on the episode we did on it, where like at that point, I think the CGI they were doing in movies was so similar to
What
video
year
games.
was that? Like 90 something, like 99?
Pitch Black is 2000 and Chronicles of Riddick is 2004.
Okay.
But the CGI was just so similar to video games that like instead of making, movies or instead of making video games that were like movies, they made movies that were like video games. Like Riddick, all those movies to me feel like a video game. The Mummy feels like a video game. The Scorpion King, it feels like a video game.
Hey, The Mummy too. I remember watching those as a kid. Like those came out like when I was like in elementary school. And then I watched those back again. I'm like, God, the CGI is so trash.
Yeah.
Like those little bugs that eat that guy.
Yeah.
Or even just the pharaohs or whatever the fuck those things are. The
I know, the scarabs that pop out of the guy's skin.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like the villains, the
Oh,
pharaohs,
yeah,
whatever
yeah,
the fuck
yeah,
they are.
yeah.
Like the CGI was fucking horrible, but I'm like, I watched that back again. I used to think those movies were fucking like whoa, like, and then I
Yeah,
was watching
yeah.
back and I'm like, this is dog shit. Like,
Yeah.
But I love Brendan Fraser. He's a great actor.
No, those movies, like they were just like so. Because yeah, like The Mummy is interesting because it's a movie that I think succeeds because not in spite of the tropes, but because it's so like stereotypical and tropey and like you can predict everything. But I think it kind of succeeds because of that, if that makes sense.
I didn't care for Scorpion King.
I think so. The thing with Scorpion King, right, is I love a movie that's just not like product placement, but I love a movie that's like just like a pure, like just like kind of goy slop, like dog shit, like McDonald's kind of entertainment. I love that in a movie because I love what I do. Like there's certain movies where I'm like, okay, I can think, right, but there's other things where I'm like, okay, I just want to like turn my brain off for a minute, you know?
What are your favorite comedy movies?
Oh, the best one of all, I will stand by this. The Dewey Cox Story, Walk Hard, John C. Reilly, 2007. It's the best comedy movie of all time.
Dewey Cox, is that with David Spade?
No, so it's basically like a parody of like like when they do rock star biopics, right? Like the Bob Dylan movie.
Oh,
and,
Dewey
like,
Cox. Okay, I was
yeah.
I was thinking of Dickie Robertson's with David Spade. Dickie
No.
Robertson's is a movie where he's a child actor. It's a David Spade movie, but yeah, Dewey Cox where he's like, you don't want to try that.
Yeah.
And he's like, I think it's supposed to be based off Elvis, right?
It's supposed to be based off. So it's basically just like a conglomerate of like every shitty like like movie biopic that was ever made.
Yeah, because he switches genres, right?
Yeah, he's really good. He can do both, and I love John C. Reilly.
Remember when he was a little boy and he started singing like the blues? He's like,
my brother.
I killed my brother. I just remember the funniest like collage where it's like he catches his band doing drugs. He's like, what is that? He's like, you don't want no part of this,
Yeah.
Dewey. He's like, just give it to me. And he's like, start out with weed
Yeah.
and then coke, heroin, meth. Like he's just moving up in the drugs.
Yeah, I love the one with Weaver. He's like, it sounds expensive, and he's like, it's the cheapest shit there is.
Because he had an all black band. And
Yeah.
They didn't give a fuck about him. They're just getting high and getting paid, you know?
It's like, I love when you can tell it's his voice versus when it's somebody else's voice. Like, because he just bursts into song and it's like, you got to love your Negro man.
I haven't seen the movie in forever. I don't
love
remember
that
most of it,
movie.
but just the scene that I remember was the drug scene where they're just like partying in the back
Yeah.
green room or wherever the fuck they're at. Like you
There's-
don't want no part of this,
Yeah.
Dewey.
There's one where they're making like, it's like when they're making like his like absurd like, and this is what I'm talking about where I love that they take, so that one's supposed to be Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys where he kind of went crazy and was like putting like animal sounds in his music and stuff, and they're like, the band's confronting him, they're like, you gone off the rails, dude. He's like, you've had sex with my wife, and he's like, and you've had sex with me, and I'm confused about that.
Didn't he have like some random lady drop a baby off to him and his wife, and he had to like take like he had a groupie, he got a groupie pregnant, she just dropped off a baby to him. Is that the same movie?
I feel like it definitely fits within that movie. I can't remember. I remember he had a monkey.
Because I remember he had a wife, but he also fucked, like I said, like Elvis. He fucked a bunch of bitches.
Yeah.
And I think some lady just dropped off a baby. He's like, he's yours now. Like
I can believe that.
he had to raise a kid. I gotta say, I haven't seen the movie in forever, but I like John C. His name John C. Reilly. I love him.
He's the best. Did you see the Elvis movie, the one with Austin Butler?
One time when it first came
Did
out.
you like it?
I don't know. I heard some weird shit about that guy. Like he's still stuck in that character.
Oh yeah. I've kind of heard
They
that.
said
as
that
well.
like because he spoke like Elvis for a few years, that like even after like in interviews he still spoke like Elvis.
Yeah. They do that with I think they do that for like Oscar marketing though, in my opinion, where they'll kind of like they'll be like, yeah, Timothy Chalamet can't stop playing guitar after playing Bob Dylan.
I'd watched interviews where like he still had the Elvis like everything like
Oh, okay.
he like went like too deep and like yeah, I'm really Elvis. Like,
Yeah.
have you ever seen those Michael Jackson impersonators?
I've seen
Like the ones on the street like Vegas or LA?
Oh yeah, of course.
And they really believe that they're fucking they really believe that they're fucking Michael. Like
Yeah.
I saw this one where a Michael Jackson impersonator was watching another Michael Jackson impersonator acting like he was the real Michael Jackson watching someone impersonate him. I was like, cuckoo,
Yeah.
bus.
100%.
Like,
It's like, how could you do this to me?
but he was watching him like perform like, oh man, you really are pretty good at doing me.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not me, you know.
he thinks that he's copying him instead of just copying Michael Jackson.
Yeah, but I don't know. That shit was weird, but I love fucking movies. Like my favorite comedy is Beer Fest. You ever watch Beer Fest?
No.
The Broken Lizard guys, they're like they're comedians. They're
No.
I say you're young, so you probably don't know.
Mm.
Broken Lizard's they were a comedy crew. They made a bunch of movies like Club Dread,
Mm-hmm.
Beer Fest. Look it up. I'm sure you can find it on Tubi. Beer Fest.
This is what I'm talking about. I miss these kinds of comedy movies so much. Where it's like a movie in 2003 with like Vince Vaughn, and it's like beer, sex, boob party. You know, like those are the best.
They're called Broken Lizard. More recent, the two of the guys. It's a group of them. They're like a comedy group. Two of them have a show called like it's like a firefighter show. It's like I forget the name of the.
Oh, I know. I know what show you're talking because I think Stipe Miocic, the heavyweight champion, he was on that at one point.
It's a comedy show about firefighters, but two of them are on there.
Okay.
But they play they're all friends and they just have a bunch of random comedies together. But Beer Fest is so fucking hilarious. The story is like their dudes are, I guess they're German or whatever the fuck they are. They find out their grandpa has like German roots to like this crazy beer or something. Like he has a secret recipe to a beer. So they like travel to wherever he's from to figure it out like what this beer is, and then like they meet their cousins, like, and their cousins are like, no, your grandpa stole our recipe, like our beer recipe, like we're the real rightful owners. I guess his mom was a prostitute or some shit. Their grandma was a prostitute, got pregnant, and then like fled to USA, stole the recipe. So they're like trying to find the roots of their grandpa or whatever, and they end up meeting their cousins, and then they go to this beer fest. It's like a drinking competition, and their actual cousins like don't like them because they're like, your fucking grandma was a slut who stole our fucking beer recipe, ran off to America, blah blah. But anyways, it's a funny ass movie. But like, the group of dudes have to go compete in Germany against these guys to like, I guess they want to redeem themselves or redeem their grandma because they were talking shit about them. He was like, yeah, your grandma was a common Bavarian prostitute. And they're like, I think you have like language barriers. He's like, no, she was a whore, a slut for money. And they're like, grandma, because her grandma's like 90 years old. They like can't imagine her grandma being a prostitute. So he's like, later on, the grandma's like making them breakfast and she gives them sausage. She's like, this is how we warmed them up back in my day. And she just grabs it and starts stroking it. They're like, oh my god, grandma was a whore. Like the shit that they start catching on the shit.
Yeah.
I'm probably ruining the fucking story,
okay.
but it's called Beer Fest. It's fucking hilarious. They have to compete against their drunk cousins and drinking games and shit like that. But it's funny. Look it up. I'm sure you can find it. It's on free, maybe on Tubi for free.
Yeah. What isn't on Tubi for free at this point?
I fucking love Tubi.
100%. It's the best.
You ever seen the movie The Pest?
Oh, that's with God damn it, John Leguizamo, right? Yeah.
How do you know that movie, but you don't know that movie?
I haven't seen it. I just know somebody was like talking about how bad that movie was.
Yeah, it's 90s comedy, like it's cheesy 90s comedy, but I love. I'm from a 90s kid, so I love that shit. You know, like back then we didn't have YouTube, we didn't have TikTok. Like this was it. You know, whatever they put on TV is what you got to watch.
Yeah, you guys had like a much like sort of like wider cultural lexicon, if that makes sense. Like you guys, like everybody kind of, if a movie came out, right, like everybody knew that movie, you know?
You know, I saw that movie The Pest. We went to go see the Beavis and Butthead movie. Beavis and Butthead Do
America.
Do America?
Or
it's called Do America, but we went to go see that, and we went to this ghetto ass movie theater where it's like $5 to get in or whatever, and they played the wrong movie.
What movie did they play?
They played The Pest.
Oh, so you saw The Pest because you...
Yes.
Okay.
So I didn't know what the fuck The Pest was.
Yeah.
But it started playing like, and I'm like sitting there, I'm like expecting Beavis and Butthead, and we're like, what the fuck is this? And then we sat and watched the whole movie. We
Hell
didn't
yeah.
fucking leave. Like it was like my parents, my brothers, sisters. We had brought some cousins with us because it was supposed to be Beavis and Butthead. You know,
Yeah.
we were huge fans. You know,
Yeah.
like, and then after the movie was over, I guess they were like, oh, we apologize, and they gave us free movie tickets. But we eventually went back to watch Beavis and Butthead. But I just remember seeing the pest like that by accident.
Okay.
It was not
Hell yeah.
intentional, but I fell in love. I fucking love that movie. Like it's stupid funny, you know.
But I think, and that's I think the key to a good comedy movie is that I love a movie where all the main characters are retarded. Like I think they don't do that anymore, and it pisses me off because I think so people say, right, they go, oh, like, you know, like the PC culture, that's what killed comedy movies. I disagree. I think that it's because people want to make an actual good movie instead of a funny movie. I don't want to see a story or like some kind of message. I just want to see the characters be idiots, and that's it.
Like Austin Powers.
Yes.
That's my daughter. She's a teenager. She's like 16, but since she was a kid, I listen. I'm a cool parent.
Okay.
I let my daughter watch whatever the fuck, you know. Like as long as there's no sex scenes, I don't want to watch no movie with her with that. That's
Yeah, of course.
awkward.
Yeah.
But it has happened and it's awkward. But she fucking loves Austin Powers.
Mm-hmm.
She quotes it. It's like thank you for having the same personality, the same sense of humor as me because.
Mm-hmm.
She loves it. She wants to next year. She wants to dress up as Austin Powers for Halloween.
That's rules. That rules.
I don't know how she's gonna pull that off. Like I'll tell you, you're gonna have to fucking wear a wig or some shit. But
Yeah.
I remember seeing Austin Powers for the first time. It was like in the 90s. The first one,
Mm.
way beyond its time. Like the shit they said, the shit they got away with. Like you
Mhm.
couldn't film an Austin Powers now.
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly Mike said they're looking, or he said he's considering doing another film.
Okay.
So let's see. Hopefully, but
Yeah.
which one was your favorite?
The Austin Powers.
I like the first one.
I think whichever. What's the one where he gets sent into space? Is that the first one or the second one?
I think they all do. I mean, I think it's the first one.
Okay, yeah. Where he's he's in space with his cat. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
In Bob's Big Boy.
I think they all in every one there's space involved. So
Okay. Have you heard the story about Random Task? Do you know what happened with him?
He's supposed to be like a 007 character, right?
Yeah. So he's
Oh, okay. Oh, you're talking about the actual actor.
Yeah, you know what
Yeah.
that where that shit was insane. Where he got
Hey,
arrested.
we were now doing your podcast.
Yeah. But no, that was like insane to me to read it. Like, so first he was like an MMA fighter. I was like, oh, that's cool. And then they're like, oh yeah, he got pulled over for a DUI, and his DNA matched like a rape and kidnapping
This
from like
was
20
during
years.
the filming of the first one, right?
No, I think this wasn't like till like 2010.
Oh, I thought it was during the filming. Like he had already filmed, and then all that shit happened. But he killed somebody, right, or something?
He raped a woman in Central Park in New York.
Oh, I thought he killed somebody. I didn't know that.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, you're right. He killed someone in prison, I think.
Oh, after he got arrested?
Yeah, so he was like, well, fuck it, I'm already here. I might as well keep going. And he killed someone, I think, in prison.
Random Task was a buff Asian.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be.
Odd Job.
Yeah, he was supposed to be like Dr. Evil's like henchman.
Yeah,
one of those.
He was like a big, just Asian meatball dude.
He had the top hat where he
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
threw it. I remember hearing something. I thought he killed somebody, but I didn't know how the whole other situation in the park and shit.
Well, because in the interrogation, so the interrogation footage is like online, right? And so they're telling him, he's like, yeah, I was an actor, I was in Austin Powers 1, and then she's like, yeah, your DNA matches a rape and murder from whenever, and he goes, have you ever seen Austin Powers 2? I was in that too.
Oh shit, he was openly admitting it.
Yeah.
There's another movie. Have you ever seen like the 40-year-old version?
Yeah, of course.
Remember the Indian dude? There's two Indian dudes. There's one he was like, I fucking tell you, that old dude, he liked to talk shit.
Mm-hmm.
There was two Indian dudes.
I don't remember the other one. Who's the other one?
Yeah, exactly. The other, it was another, it said when they worked at in 40-year-old version, they worked at like a wannabe fucking Circuit City or
Yeah,
whatever,
it was
right?
at Best Buy or whatever.
There was an older dude. He was also in Zack and Mary Make a Porno.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that movie?
Underrated.
Remember the boss? The Zack and Mary Make a Porno? He was an Indian dude. They hated him. Anyways, in 40-year-old version there was two of them. It was an older Indian dude and a younger Indian dude.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of didn't talk.
Mm-hmm.
But that dude, he fucking, after the filming of the movie, he like stabbed his girlfriend to death.
Jesus.
Like brutally, like 1,000 times.
Jesus Christ.
So I remember hearing a similar story, like the actor who killed his girlfriend. Like there's a lot of fucking crazy Hollywood stories.
Yeah.
Like, you remember the Little Rascals?
I never saw it, but I'm familiar with the idea.
The original Little Rascals, like the 1940s, the original black and white films, the original cast, all of them have talk about this on your podcast.
Okay.
Look into it. The original Little Rascals, they called them Our Gang. That was the original one. Every fucking one of them has a crazy story. This is 1940s Hollywood, like dark.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna go down a rabbit hole.
This is back when, like, yeah, that period. If you were a woman in Hollywood, you walked into a room and they were like, rape her right
Listen,
now.
These kids were little kids, exploited little kids. Every one of them had terrible deaths, died young. Like there's a bunch of them. Like Alfalfa, the original Alfalfa, he's one of the main characters.
Yeah.
He got like stabbed to death when he was like 21 in a bar or some shit.
Damn.
And then other kids like they died. Like I'm telling you, it's like a weird. It might be conspiracy shit, but a lot of the characters, a lot of the actors, died young and in crazy fucking ways. So you might want to talk about this on your podcast.
Because that's like the story of a like Macaulay Culkin. That's like every child actor's story. It's like, yeah, he got addicted to heroin and then fell into a volcano. You know,
every one of them, the original cast, every one of them, like you look into it, they all had horrible deaths or they got into drugs or they got murdered. It's fucking crazy. And I used to love that I like, it's comedy. Like I liked. My grandma used to have like VHSs of this shit. I used to go to her house and watch it. Like it's like almost like kind of like silent film. They don't really. There's not much dialogue. They just it's mostly
like slapstick.
It's mostly acting. But if you look up the 1940s Our Gang, it's pretty fucking funny. Like the little kid actors, they're funny. But when I heard about the dark history behind the original cast, I'm like, God damn! Like these kids went through some shit. Like
yeah. Did you ever read about what happened with the Anakin actor from The Phantom Menace?
Yeah, I feel like he's a pussy. Like,
can you expand why?
Because they're like, oh, after he grew fame from the movie, like people used to bully him about the character or whatever. And most people were like, you just sucked at acting. Like you were blessed that you got that. Like if you didn't get that role, you would have just been a nobody, you know? Like
I mean, low key, yeah. But it sucked to me because I was like, imagine like being in the biggest movie of all time and you're still a loser.
Yeah, it's because, like I said, he was honestly, if you've seen him in Jingle All the Way, he was a terrible actor.
Oh, he was in another movie. I thought that was the only movie he was in.
There's a movie. I forget you're young, man. Fuck. Jingle All the Way is an Arnold Schwarzenegger Christmas movie.
Oh, with Sinbad, right?
Yeah. He's the son.
Oh, really?
Jamie. He's a terrible actor. Like.
Okay.
But anyways, people say you fucking sucked at acting. Like this was the biggest role you probably would have ever gotten.
Okay.
He grew up ugly. Like he didn't, like most, like Macaulay Culkin's like at least handsome.
Yeah.
He went through his tweaker phase, but like.
Yeah.
Like I said, if Star Wars didn't happen, like you said, you didn't know he was in Jingle All the Way, right? Like,
No.
That was another like big role for him. But yeah, he said that he was bullied because kids would talk about Star Wars. I'm like, just own that shit. Like,
yeah. I mean, hey, I was in fucking Star. What the fuck were you in math class?
Exactly. He's like, oh, they would pretend to pull out lightsabers.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Like, that's like us doing comedy. Like, oh, and someone talking to you about doing comedy. Like, okay.
Yeah, like that's a good thing. Thank you. You know.
Yeah, but I don't know. When I saw interviews about him, like he quit acting because he was being bullied. Like, how are you being bullied? Because you're a little kid. They were kids. Like, who cares?
They probably were just excited, and he was just autistic and thought they were making fun of him.
If he was, I don't know what he does now. He just like kind of just hates the whole.
I think
Star
he is
Wars
like
thing.
a tweaker now. I think he's like a legitimate tweaker.
If he was fucking smart, you shut your fucking mouth, go to Comic-Con, make $100,000 a weekend to sign autographs.
Yeah.
And then die happy. Like, he literally never has to work again.
Yeah.
All he has to do is go around to conventions,
100%,
sign autographs, fucking sign pictures, take whatever, because they're supposed to make money. Like, Kevin Smith, Kevin Smith, Jay and Silent Bob, he was saying like people like the big stars when they go to these Comic-Cons and they charge cash. They do not, I've been to conventions or whatever, Comic-Cons, whatever, to take a picture with them, to get a signature. $40, $80. He said they're walking away with like hundreds of thousands of dollars in a weekend.
That's
like,
wild, dude.
Like you don't need to work. Like
yeah.
So if you see these old actors from the 80s at these conventions and you're like, oh, they're all washed up. No, they're fucking making money. Like the old fucking Power Rangers, they show up to a convention to sign autographs. They're walking away with $100,000 easily.
That's wild. Because I went to Creep IE yesterday at the horror convention.
I was gonna go. I've been to that like 3 times.
Oh hell yeah, dude.
We're horror fans.
Oh yeah.
We met last time we met the Terrifier.
Oh, what's his name? Damien Leon's the guy that makes it, I think. I can't remember his name, but yeah.
My daughter's Sweet 16 was a Terrifier.
That rules.
It was a horror 16. But we'd met him. We have his autograph. One of the DVD, he signed the DVD, the second DVD, but I bought her the DVD, the third one, It just came out for her birthday. She hasn't even fucking watched it yet, but I took her to watch it. She loves those fucking movies.
Yeah, no, they're a lot of fun. But I love, yeah, like the like how small an actor is and they still get sick. You know what I mean?
Did you meet anybody when you went?
No, for me it's like, okay, personally it's like I'll look at them from afar, but it's like I don't want to pay $100 to meet someone
Exactly.
who worked the craft services table on the Lost Boys. You know?
Yeah, I told my daughter, I was like, I'll pay for you to meet one person, and she chose the Terrifier. But I wanted to go because I love Lost Boys, and I have some Lost Boy pops. I wanted Michael to, because Michael was going to be there. I want him to sign
It was
it.
what's his name? He looks like Alex Winter. Alex
Yeah.
Winter.
We were going to go. I honestly forgot about it. It was this weekend, right? Or it's still going on right now.
I think it's still going on.
No, it just passed. I honestly forgot. We've gone like a few times already, but I forgot about that shit. Damn, you just reminded me. I was like, fuck. I wanted to get my Lost Boys fucking pop sign, but
Well, I was
whatever.
pissed because like we were going to leave. It was like closing, and they were like, "Oh, a kid is lost." So like they literally closed it. They wouldn't let us leave. And like that was one of those few times where I'm like, I'm a fucking American, dude. I'll fucking walk through these doors right now, dude.
Last time we were there, my wife got and there's posters on the wall over there. She
Mhm.
got Rose McGowan's autograph.
Oh
from
hell,
Jawbreaker.
that rules.
It's up there. The whole Screamcast was there. I got to meet Jamie Kennedy, but I didn't like take a picture or sign anything. I just like shook. I just because they walk around sometimes.
Oh yeah. I saw Scott Ian from Anthrax just walking around.
Yeah, Jamie Kennedy was there, and the Black Phone. You ever seen Black
Oh
Phone?
yeah. My dad loved that movie.
The characters were there, like the little girls.
Mm-hmm.
They were there. And like there's two sisters. One was in Black Phone, and the other one's in another movie, Megan.
Oh yeah.
They're sisters. They're little girls.
Oh.
We got to meet both of them. They were just walking around, and my daughter was like, "Can I get a picture with you?" They're like, no, like you have to fucking pay, motherfucker.
Yeah.
So I told my daughter, I did this one time at I think Comic-Con. Lou Ferrigno, the guy who plays Hulk,
Yeah.
he was behind me, and I just took a selfie with him in the background. I don't know where this photo is, but he was looking at me mad, like, cause I basically stole a photo with him.
Yeah.
They want to charge you $40 to take a picture. Like, fuck you.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, no. I'm not like it's like if I wanted to pay $40 to like take a picture with like a random person, like I don't really have an analogy here, but like it's just not worth the money.
Yeah, but like I said, a signature is one thing because you can get it authenticated at those places and then you could sell them, whatever.
I guess. For me, dude, you know what the weirdest thing ever happened? I remember I was a kid and like I didn't as an adult now I understand how Chinese tourists work, but as a kid, I swear to God, I'm in LA and I'm on Alvera Street, right, like where they make the tortillas in front of you and shit, and this Chinese lady, I swear to God, just bends down and takes a picture of me and then just keeps walking away.
Hey, I remember one time when I was little, I was fishing in the beach, and I caught this big ass fish,
Nice.
huge fucking fish. And some Asian lady came and I pulled it out and just came and took it from me. And then she cut it up and then took it. I was like, okay, what the fuck?
Dude?
They have no filter. They don't
None.
like
Zero.
foreigners, they don't give a fuck.
They have zero sense of like civil like discourse, I guess. I remember one time I was in Mammoth and there was like 8 Indian dudes all just taking pictures, and I was like 17, and even at the time I knew how funny it was. I was like, hey, can I just get a picture with you guys? And I have like a picture on my Snapchat somewhere of just me and like 8 Indian dudes.
Have you seen foreign dudes like go to like Asia, like I mean like Americans go to like China or whatever, like so right now if you went to China, like they'll be taking pictures of you and they see foreigners.
It's so funny.
Like a tall white dude.
It's so funny, dude.
How tall are you?
5'10".
Oh, you're not tall enough. They're not gonna
They
want
wouldn't care about me.
Actually, I lied. In China, you're fucking huge. You're Yao Ming out there.
Yeah.
I've seen pictures of just white dudes walking through, and they automatically, because you're American, whatever, they just think you're rich and famous.
Yeah.
And just random people just start pulling their phones out, snapping photos, and then girls wanting you to marry them, and like,
Yeah.
I was like, man, I need to go to the Philippines or some shit. Like, have you seen the Philippine videos of those old white dudes walking around, like with that hot little Filipino chick?
And because a lot of times they'll be in Colombia and it'll be like some girl like, "Oh, papi, come here," and like right, and
it's a dude.
Yeah. Either that or it's like that girl doesn't want you. That girl's working. You know what I mean? That girl's doing her job right now.
Hey, I'll take it. If she wants to flatter me, fuck it, you know?
I'll take the compliment for sure. I'll always take the compliment.
I saw this one interview with this dude. He went to the Philippines. He met a chick, and he's like, "Oh, we were drinking at the bar or whatever," and then she drove us back to her place, and he's like, and then she reverse parked into the garage. He's like, "That's when I knew that was a fucking dude." He was like, "Well, I got the fuck out of here." He's like, "Ain't no chick backing up in no fucking garage." Because you know that out there they have like the lady boys and shit.
Yeah.
He was like, That was my telltale. As soon as she reversed, she hit the reverse into the garage. He's like, "This is a boat. This is a lady boat."
Yeah. No, I heard. So what I heard, right? So I heard. I forget what part of your body it is. So I heard the telltale sign to know is
Adam's
like.
apple.
No, it's not. Yeah,
The penis.
the Adam's.
The big ass. The dick that's bigger than yours.
Yeah, dude, I'm sorry. I'm gonna be honest. If anyone in Thailand has a bigger penis than me, I failed. I'm killing myself, dude. Straight
Hey,
up.
if her boner's bigger than yours, you better let her fuck
Yeah,
you.
yeah. It's like you're done. So yeah, I don't. This is just per matter of personal. I don't think it's gay to have sex with a tranny or like let it, fuck a tranny or whatever.
Gay.
But no. But if the dick is bigger than yours, it's gay.
Hey, remember the Hangover? Where he's like, "We make love." He's like, "You shoot my load into you, I shoot load on floor." He's like, "What?" He's like, "I think we have translation issues." He's like, "She's like, no, the sperm from my balls." And he was all crying and shit that he had got fucked by a tranny.
Yeah. I had a friend that happened to him. So he said he was like on like a nude beach, right? He just wanted to try it, and he just went out there just by himself, and he's like reading, and he said like some girl came up to him, and she had a bikini on, which to be honest should have been his first sign to
Tucked
kind of
in.
know, yeah, to know, and so she would like kind of like beckon for him to come back to like the forest or whatever.
Forest?
That it was there, dude, and I was like, she's going to kill you.
Okay, continue your story. But I'm gonna tell a story after
No,
you
yeah.
finish.
But basically, it was just that, like, so she, they get out there and she has like a penis, and he was like, oh, I'm
And a
not
fucking
really.
knife. Like, give me your dick.
No, worse. No, she had like a
Machete.
like a wiener, and then like,
A wiener.
and he was like, oh, I'm not really, I'm okay. And she was like, do you mind if I just jack off? And he was like, you do whatever you want, I'm leaving.
He's like, I shoot load on floor. All right, I'm gonna get into a story that happened to me
For sure.
recently. It's a long fucking story, but I have to
No.
say, I have to tell everything for everything to make sense. All right. So I went to a comedy show recently, right? I've gone to a shitload of comedy shows. I usually go by myself,
Mm-hmm.
or I go with a friend. When you go by yourself, they'll sit you by yourself or whatever, right? Or they'll sit you next to random people,
Mhm.
right? I went with a friend. Every time I go by myself, sorry, I have to burp.
No, you're chill.
Every time I go by myself, I have a rule. When I sit down, I put my arm on the chair next to me and just pretend someone's coming to meet me.
Okay, smart.
Just so nobody sits next. I don't want to fucking sit next to some randoms.
Mhm.
And the comedy clubs just want to pack the seats, So I tell my friend, okay, we got there early, right? There was only one dude in line. I'm like, oh fuck, we're early. Like we're like the first ones in line. So I told my friend, when we go inside and sit down, put your arm on the fucking chair so nobody sits next to us. There was one random dude, huge, open venue, right?
Mm-hmm.
We sit at the end of the table. He comes and sits next to us, and I told my friend, put your fucking arm on that
Yeah.
on that fucking chair.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
he
yeah.
could have sat anywhere. Have you seen those memes where like you're taking a piss at the urinal?
Yes, that's exactly what I was
That's
thinking.
what he fucking did.
That's-
Like we sat at the end of the table just like in case we had to go to the restroom, we could just fucking leave or whatever. And he's like, oh, I guess I'll just sit with these fellas. And I was like, fuck, man. Like I could tell right away he was by himself. Just by looking at him, this motherfucker, there was something wrong about him. I was like I told my friend, as soon as he sat next to him, I texted him, I was like, I fucking told you to put your arm on that fucking table. So the show doesn't start for another hour. We're early as fuck, right? The dude starts talking, oh, who are you here to see? Blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, yeah, I was here last night and I came for this show. And then started talking about comedy, right? And I was like, yo, I do stand-up comedy. And then we're talking about comedy. Normal conversation, right? Out of nowhere, he's like, oh, so how do you guys know each other? I was like, oh, like we've been friends since we were kids, like 20 plus years. Like we're like best friends. And he's like,
Yeah.
oh, that's cool. I have a question. At any point in your life, have you guys ever been gay? And I was like,
Like
what?
you can just turn it off.
I was like, what? And I looked at my friend and I'm like, you should have put your arm on that fucking chair like I told you. What did I fucking tell you? This motherfucker was a weirdo, straight up. And then like if you ever go to the club, sometimes they'll play like slideshows of other comics.
Mm-hmm.
So my friend's like, oh look, blah blah blah. Like I forget who he said, just change the subject.
Mm-hmm.
So that was awkward, right? He said,
Yeah.
asked if we were gay, and we're like, nah, we're straight. We're not gay at all. This dude was like an older dude, he's probably like in his 50s, an older fucking dude, right? Then he's like, hey, I'm gonna go have a cigarette. Do you guys want to have a cigarette? And I was like, I vape, but like, the show's gonna start soon, and I don't know if they allow you in and out. Like, I was just making excuses because I didn't want to fucking smoke a cigarette.
Yeah.
This guy was weird.
Anything to not have him ask more questions.
And then he was telling my friend, hey, come have a cigarette with me. Come on, let's go smoke. And my friend's like, I don't even smoke. He's like, just come on, man. Like, just come outside with me. And he's like, come on, who knows? Maybe you can end up back in my room or whatever. And me and my friend looked at each other and I was like, oh my God, what the fuck did you
Yeah,
get us
yeah,
into? Like, all you had to do was put your arm on that
yeah.
fucking
Yeah,
chair. We wouldn't be in this situation. So he's like, all right, I'm going to go have a cigarette. And we're like, yeah, all right, have fun, bye. And he's like, wait a minute. You're not going to spike my drinks, are you guys? And he's looking at me and I'm like, no, what
He's
the
trying to give you a
fuck?
hint. He's trying to let you know what he wants you to do.
I was like, no. I was like, what the fuck? I ain't no fucking Bill Cosby. What
Yeah,
the
yeah,
fuck?
yeah.
And he looked at me. He's like, I don't trust you, but I trust your friend. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, who are you? Like, what the fuck? So he's like, I'm gonna go have a cigarette, right? He goes to have this cigarette, and I told my friend, I was like, listen, I knew a door guy there, right? I was like, listen, I'm gonna pull my comedy strings, and I'm getting this the fuck out of here. We already had our tab at that table, so like we couldn't just walk up with our drinks and just go. Like
Yeah.
we're tied to that table,
Mhm.
so like I was like, when this dude comes back, I'm gonna go take a piss, and then I'm gonna find my comedy friend and ask him to move us. So he's like, all right. So the dude comes back from the restroom, and then he's like, oh, you guys didn't spike my drink, did you? Like, and I was like, nah. I had a beer and a water. I had finished my beer, and I still had a water. So I was like, I'm ready to go to the restroom, right? And then more people are coming in. This dude walks in with like a full beard, and the dude's like, oh man, look at that beard. That's a real beard right there. He's like, I'd like to spike his drink. And I was like, oh my God, like, what's with this motherfucker? Like, is this Bill Cosby we're sitting next
Yeah,
to? Like,
yeah,
he's like, are we fucking or am I fucking?
yeah.
But I was like, oh my God. That's when I was like, okay, I'm getting the fuck up and I got to get the fuck out of here. I got to find my guy to get us the fuck out of here. I get up as I'm walking away because I said all I had was a water left. I hear the dude say, how can I spike his water? Like, he told my friend that.
Say, do you mind if I rape your friend real quick?
He's like, how can I spike his water? And then I was like, what the fuck? And I go find the comic I know. He's the door guy. I was like, listen, I kind of know you. We follow each other on Instagram. I need your fucking
yeah,
help.
yeah.
There's some Jeffrey Dahmer fucking weirdo, like, talking about fucking spiking drinks, wanting us to go out and hang out with him. And I was like, I don't know who he is. Get us the fuck away from him. I
Yeah.
was like, there's a booth over here. It's open. Nobody's sitting there. I was like, can you pretend to upgrade us? I was like, if not, we're getting the fuck out of here. We're leaving. Like, cause my friend looked uncomfortable because he was like hitting on my friend clearly. Like, I could tell he didn't like me. Like, when we were talking, he kept shutting me down. Like, he was mostly interested in my friend. Go, okay.
Rude.
I don't even care. Go for it. But I told the door guy, I was like, listen, just come over, pretend like you know me, right? Just pretend, hey, we're upgrading you to a better seat. Like, come on. But make sure that he doesn't fucking come with us. And he's like, yeah, I got you. So we go sit back down and he's still talking weird shit. And I'm like, come on, where the fuck is this fool? He was taking forever to come. And then I finally saw him and I was like, kind of like trying to signal him, like,
Mm.
please come on,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
come
yeah.
save us.
Yeah.
And then he comes up, he's like, hey, Andy, how's it going? Hey, guess what? I got you guys VIP seats. And he's like, all right. I was like, all right, let's go. I told my friend, oh, it's nice to know people. You know, I was playing it off.
Yeah.
I was like trying to look cool, like, because
Yeah.
I do comedy and I know
Yeah.
people. So we get up and the dude starts getting up too. And my friend's like, no, wait. I think it's just for us.
Yeah.
So we go sit down in the booth, right? And we can still see him. And then I look over in the corner of my eye. I can still see the dude going like he wanted to come sit with us.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
I was like, don't fuck. I told my friend, don't look over. Like,
Yeah.
And then finally the show started, and then he scooted over to like another couple. The dude that he said, the real beard guy, he's like, oh, that's a nice real beard. I love this guy.
Yeah.
He scooted over towards them. I was
New
like,
target acquired.
new victim, but I was just like, holy shit, man. Like, what the fuck was that? Like,
Yeah.
I've been to hundreds of comedy shows, never experienced this. I don't care if you're gay or whatever, but that motherfucker was being weird. You don't say spiking drinks to somebody. It's like saying, calling a bomb on a plane. You don't say that shit.
Yeah.
And he was just being real weird. Like, I could see it in his eyes. Like, there was something wrong with this guy.
Yeah.
Like, this is how Jeffrey Dahmer would go out. He'd go out, hit on dudes, test the waters.
Yeah.
And my friend told me when I went to go find the comic to switch his seats, he was like, yeah, he was telling me he has a hotel out here. And he kept asking me, like, why my skin was so pale. Because my friend's white. And I was like, this motherfucker wanted to Buffalo Bill you.
Yeah.
He wanted to wear
He wanted to make you a jacket. Dude.
he wanted to wear your skin like a leotard. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh my God, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And I was like, I told my friend, literally, comedy just saved our asses.
Yeah.
Literally. I was like, being a comic and knowing another comic and being able to like pull strings and get us the fuck out of here. I was like, you could be getting your corpse could be getting butt fucked right now if I didn't save us. But like I said, I don't mind gay people, whatever, be gay all you want. But like he was just being too aggressive and too like out of nowhere, like, hey, who's your favorite comic? Do you guys like dick?
Well, that's weird too to be imagine being a gay dude and having bad gaydar, you know what I mean, where he couldn't tell within 15 minutes that you guys were not gay.
Do I look like a gay to you? Like no.
It's like even if you do, it's like you should be able to know, like, you know, if you talk to a girl, right, you know within like a minute if she's interested in the conversation.
She ain't looking at you, she don't care.
Yeah.
But like I said, we were just having a friendly comedy conversation, and this fool just turned it out of nowhere, like, are you guys gay? And then we were like, nah, and then he still kept
See, and that's where you should have stopped, dude. You're wasting your time.
I'm like, is this what it's like to be a woman? I feel you, ladies. Like I said, but he was more interested in my friend, but like it just felt uncomfortable for both of us because I could see him looking at me like the look, you know, like, oh fuck, like I don't know. I've been to a lot of shows. This was the craziest shit that's ever happened to me. Like I don't know where it could have gone. It could have gone real bad if we ended up going outside or hanging out with this dude. Like I could just tell he had bad intentions. Like he was tired of striking out. He was because he said he was there the weekend. He got a room. He's seen several shows, I guess, but he's like, I'm not striking out tonight. But he was like, he's like, you never been gay? I'm like, nah. Like, and he's like, you sure? Like, he was like trying to convince me, like, maybe I should be gay. Like,
well, what do you mean you've never been gay? As if you can just be like, yeah, I was gay 2 tours actually, and then I decided I was done with it.
He started talking shit about my glasses, right? And my friend has similar glasses. He's like, why do you guys have similar glasses? You guys aren't gay? I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
oh yeah, we go to the optometrist and then fuck each other.
I was like, first of all, we have the same brand.
Yeah.
Shout out Ray-Ban, sponsor me.
Oh yeah.
I have Ray-Bans, but I didn't know he had glasses. My friend had glasses, but he never wears them. So I didn't even know he had glasses. When I finally got glasses, he's like, oh, I have similar glasses. That was it. This dude was like, why do you guys have similar glasses? I'm like, it's in coincidence. I don't fucking know. I didn't even know he had glasses.
Yeah.
He didn't start pulling them out till I had them, you know, so.
And it's like, yeah, I feel like you couldn't, like, if you tried to hit on a girl like that, if you were just going up to like a group of girls, you're like, man, I wish I could roofie one of you, man. That would be awesome.
Exactly.
Dude.
And he was like, I don't trust you. I'm like, I've only seen weed in my life. I'm a square. Like, yeah. I've never seen coke, maybe pills. I don't. What is a fucking spike drink? What does it even look like?
I feel like the terminology or like it's much broader now. It used to be like, I don't know if you've seen Arrested Development, but like there's like a thing where it's like one of the characters, Job, is like, it's like sometimes I take these pills, they're called forget me nows, and he opens them and he's like, Job, these are like roofies. It's like you're just roofing yourself.
Like I said, I don't even know what that shit even looks like. Like I don't hang out with people who do drugs. Like I'm a square. I was a straight edge kid from back in the day.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Are you too young to know what straight edge is?
No, I know what straight edge is. Yeah, I'm familiar with like Ian McKay, all the punk bands and stuff.
Yeah, I was into hardcore and shit. So I was a square.
Oh, you were in a hardcore band?
Yeah, no, I was into hardcore.
Oh, okay.
I used to play guitar, but I was never like. Me and my friends wanted to start bands, but we never like officially did.
Yeah,
you know?
like we talked about starting bands more than we actually did.
Yeah, we had a MySpace profile, but no recordings.
No songs. just in it for the MySpace page.
Yeah, but anyways, I don't know. That shit was weird, man. Do you have any fucking crazy stories like that? Like. Any crazy situations where you're just like awkward and like this was my first comedy one where like I just felt uncomfortable and I was ready to walk the fuck out.
Yeah.
He ruined the night for me. Even after we sat down in the other booth, I was still scared. Like I literally felt like Jeffrey Dahmer. Like did you watch the Jeffrey Dahmer?
Yeah, where he's like, let me get 2 PBRs for my friends at the end over there.
Like I was saying, like, he was really he was nice in the beginning and then just turned weird and just got like instead I looked in his eyes and like there was nothing there. Like no emotion, like creepy, like a demon or some shit, you know? Like, I don't know.
I don't know if I have any crazy like I'm trying to think if I have a story of like when I thought someone might try to kill me. To be honest, I feel like I don't have anything like that yet. I do remember being in like an open mic one time and like we were in LA, right? And it was like the place to hang out in the back was kind of like an alley, right? And so we're all back out there like, you know, smoking and like drinking beers or whatever. And this guy, like this kind of obviously looking homeless dude comes out and he's like, oh, we smoking out here or what? And I thought he was going to ask for like a cigarette. It's like, whatever, I'll give you a cigarette, dude. And then instead he just starts pulling out like opens up like a little like suitcase just filled with like syringes and like a crack pipe. And he's like, we're not smoking that out here, dude. We're not, I don't know.
He's like, you guys like to party or what?
Yeah. No, yeah, I remember that from the Jeffrey Dahmer thing. Yeah, where it was always, you want to party? You want to come back to my house and party?
Yeah, I'm telling you, he was just like him. Like I think if I've never watched a documentary, I wouldn't have picked up on like what the fuck was going on because I knew right away something's wrong with this.
Yeah.
I had the intuition, you know, like I have that gut feeling, you know, like that's why when I'm at comedy shows or like out mics, I usually keep to myself unless I know people. Like I
Mhm.
really won't talk to anyone. You know, this was a perfect example. Like I said, I go a lot of comedy shows by myself. Do not talk to anyone. Arm on the chair.
Yeah.
Leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
friend's
yeah.
he's a noob. You know, we go to some comedy shows together, but this was the first time we went where we were the first ones there, and then the empty house and the weirdo. But I knew right away. I was like, "Thank you for putting us next to this autistic fucking Dahmer." Like,
Yeah, yeah.
oh my god.
Well, there's a weird thing too of like if you go to like so say you do a show at a bar, right? And then the audience like prior to that, right, like didn't know that you were a comic. When you sit back down, there's this weird kind of interrogation of you, like they have to figure out like how to be funnier than you or something. Like I had that happen at an open mic the other day where like this like karaoke guy came up to me afterwards and he was like really drunk and he's all in my face and he's like, "So you're like funny, right?" And it's like I'm just up there doing
Maybe like you can sing, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Was he doing Creed? What was he singing?
No, it was like like you remember like Slightly Stupid and like those kind of bands from the early 2010s, where it's like, you know what I'm talking about, like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
kind of. And he was still doing that like 15 years
It was
later.
a mixed mic, karaoke and comedy.
Yeah, I made the mistake of going to a mixed
I
mic.
went to one mixed mic and it was all musicians and me and another dude were the only two comics and I was like, I'm leaving.
Which was it? Urel Brewery in Riverside.
It was in Montclair. So
Oh,
it was a
okay.
tiny, like a microbrewery.
Oh, okay.
It was basically just a music mic. And then we were the only two comics.
Hmm.
And I feel bad because I invited the dude. Shout out to Dan Ochero. He's the guy who does
Oh yeah.
he does my theme song for the show.
Oh, like he wrote that.
Yeah, well, we did it together. Like I went to his house and we recorded it.
Hell yeah.
But he's 99% of it. I just did
Okay.
the vocal. It was my like I came up with the idea of how I wanted the sound, and then he made the sound, and I recorded some of the vocals. But
Hmm.
it all goes to him. I give credit to everything to him. He's a fucking genius. He's a sick comedian. He does metal. Like he's a band. I can't pronounce the name. I'm sorry. I don't know what the
Yeah.
some weird shit. He's a sick ass vocalist. His instrumentals are fucking amazing. Like he's fucking dope. Shout out to Dan Ochoro. But
Yeah, hell yeah.
I invited him to this, and then he stuck around to do comedy. I got the fuck out of there. I think I went to Chatterbox because it was around the same time.
Hmm.
It was an early mic, but I don't know. I just like the show we did. It was like a rap and then comedy.
Yeah, it's a bit much.
Once the rap was over, everybody fucking left.
Yeah.
And then we were left with little kids.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god. Like, I stuck around to watch your set, and then I got the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
I just was like, I felt so uncomfortable. I told Maury, I was like, "Fool, why the fuck?" He's like, "Man, fuck them kids." I'm like, "No, like, cause I have to perform in front of them."
Yeah.
He's like, "Well, just don't cuss." I'm like, "Well, then I can't talk."
Yeah. Well, no, for me, because I didn't really know how to approach it. So I would just like, after I told like probably the worst joke I had, like so people were like laughing. And then I just looked out in the audience. I was like, that one was for the kids, dude. That one was for you guys.
You know what's funny is the one kid that was in front, she was like a little teenage girl. Her mom was a stripper rapper. They were there because of the rap thing. The mom rapped, but she was talking about how she was a stripper. So like, I didn't feel bad for doing comedy in front of her. Like, your mom's a fucking stripper.
Yeah. You've already seen the worst of the worst,
I'm like,
dude.
You're gonna be a funny girl one day.
Yeah.
They say that like trauma makes you funny.
100%.
She's like, yeah, I used to watch my mom go rap after a night shift at the strip club. Like, she's gonna be hilarious one day.
Wild, dude.
But people say that like, oh, trauma makes you funny. But I'm like thinking of my life, like I didn't really have many traumas. Is that true? Like you have to have trauma?
To be fair, I've met a lot of people that have gone through trauma that are retarded. You know what I mean? I've met a lot of people that have gone through it.
Bobby Hill at the fucking pizza spot.
That kid's not going to be funny. That kid is going to love like Coors Light and cocaine whenever he can get a hold of it, you know?
But I grew up poor. Like, I don't know if that's considered a trauma. Like, I lived in the ghetto. Like, but like, I wasn't beaten. I wasn't touched as a child. Like, you know, like I don't have like a horrible. Besides being poor, I didn't really have a horrible upbringing.
Yeah, because there are certain times where it's like, oh, like you use humor as a coping mechanism. It's like I use humor because I like to have a good time.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
What I mean?
Like,
I like to fuck around.
The way I got to me, like when I went to junior high, the group of friends I hung around with were all a bunch of little fat kids, and it was just fun. Like, you know, like girls didn't talk to us.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the trauma. I found it. Girls didn't talk to us, so we had to find ways.
Here's the Dr. Phil episode.
We had to find ways for girls to like us, so we had to be funny. It still hasn't worked yet, but but like I said, I just loved fucking around with my friends, talking shit. We like you said, you guys talk about movies. Like we used to love talking about movies, comedy. Like I used to love comedians when I was younger. So like it's just, to me, it's fun. Like I like going up there, saying however I feel, say crazy shit,
Yeah.
and if you fucking can relate to it and you laugh at it, whatever, you know, like. But like I said, I was never bullied. I wasn't beaten. Like, so I said, where's my trauma? Like I said, maybe the the lack of girls in high school wanting to be funny.
And it's like that's not trauma. I feel like that's just humor serving as a solution to a problem.
So I'm saying what they say you have to have trauma. What trauma? Like, do you have trauma? Like, were you touched as a child? Did your uncle tell you I'll teach you how to swim naked or something?
Yeah, that's always it's like this is how adults love each other or whatever. And it's but no, I never like.
He's like, you want to learn how to kiss a girl or not?
I did have to. I swear to God, this is true. So I had a friend, right, and it was so weird because like, and I grew up and like two of my closest friends were like these two brothers, right, and both of them were like really like these tall, good-looking dudes, but they were both just autistic as shit, right? So like like God giveth and He taketh away. And so at one point, right, like one of them, like the older brother, he was my age, and he like got his first girlfriend when he was like 18, right? So at this point, I'd already had like a string of like little like dumb 15-year-old girlfriends or whatever, and like so he's like Riley, he's like, can you teach me how to hug a girl? So like I literally had to sit there and be like, okay, Jacob. So I was like, okay, Jacob, you be the girl, and he's like 6 foot, he's like 6'4", and I'm going up pretending to hug him as a girl, and yeah, at a certain point, I was like, I realized I was like, we're at a public pool doing anybody can just watch these two
He's
dudes
like,
hugging each
grab
other.
my ass.
Yeah, like I was like, and it's I don't know why it took me so long to figure out like people can see us doing this.
Where are you from?
So I was born in Riverside. I was raised in Corona, and then I moved back to Riverside when I was 21.
So this happened in Corona or Riverside?
This happened at the Butterfield Estates community pool.
I was thinking of like a trailer park or some shit. Like
Kind of.
I when I was little, like we moved around a lot when I was little. I lived all around the IE. At one point, I lived in a trailer park because we were like buying a house, but it like the guy who was fixing the house, like his like wife or something died in like a freeway, like it was a crazy freeway pileup. She
Damn.
died. So like he postponed fixing the house. Like it wasn't ready to be like moved into. So we lived in a trailer park for a while, like just something cheap, whatever. Right? Before the house was fucking ready. The guy took his sweet ass time.
Yeah,
Like, our parents fought with the dude for a long time.
Yeah.
I fucking love living in a trailer park. Like it was fucking
it's fun,
sick.
dude.
I love Trailer Park Boys. I don't know if you're a
Great.
fan.
It's great.
I have a tattoo on my leg. I'll show you later. But I felt just like the boys. Like you could literally do whatever the fuck you want. We had literally a security guard.
Yeah.
You know, like on Trailer Park Boys, Leahy and Randy.
Yeah, the best.
But they didn't have a car. They rode around on bicycles, and we would just fuck around. Like I said, it was ghetto. Like
Yeah.
this was the 90s. You didn't have to be home. We weren't home. Never home. You know? We used to fuck around, bullshit, and I love living there. And then we moved out, whatever. I miss living there, but I would live in a trailer park again. That shit is sick.
Yeah.
Like, it's cheap too. Like, you could like buy a trailer for like 80 grand and own that bitch.
Yeah.
Where are you gonna find that anywhere else around here?
Not did that. Yeah. No, I grew up in their manufactured homes. So people would say that I was like from a trailer park, and I was like, no. This is stationary. We have plumbing. Okay, so like I would be very defensive.
I said it wasn't a trailer. It was a mobile home.
Yeah.
It looked like a house. Like,
Yeah.
But I love living there. That shit was fun. It was in Chino.
Yeah.
And that's like farm area. There's like cows everywhere. So like when I would walk home from school, I would see like cows being born. They fucking come out and just plop on the ground with a fat sack, and then the mom just eats the sack away. And I'm just like walking home from elementary school, like, whoa.
Hell yeah, that rules.
It fucking smelled out there. Like, you live there, you never get used to it. Like, I don't know if you've been around a farm area.
Like Norco, right? Where it smells like cow shit everywhere.
Yeah, that's how it was. But I loved living in a trailer park. I'll do that shit again. But
yeah.
most of the, like I said, a lot of my childhood memories came from there. Like, I had this friend. He had a 64 before. We were poor. We weren't rich, right? He got a 64 for his birthday, and then like I remember just hanging out, playing Star Fox, chilling over there.
Yeah.
Or I'd spend it at his house. We'd watch wrestling. Did you ever watch wrestling? Were you into wrestling?
I'm more of a UFC guy. I follow some of like the wrestling drama just because I love the Vince McMahon drama because that guy's like insane, but mostly UFC.
Yeah, his drama now. Back then it was all character. Now it's like legal. Like,
Yeah.
Like this guy was fucking crazy, shitting on people and prostituting the ladies around the office and shit.
Yeah.
Like, I feel bad for his wife. She just looked like a sweet old lady, and he's like shitting on the secretaries. You should have let him shit on you, Melinda.
Yeah. He's like, I'm gonna shit on my dick, and I'm gonna fuck you with the shitty dick.
Yeah, but I love wrestling. The Royal Rumble just happened recently. You know what's sick is now that you don't have to watch pay-per-view anymore. It's on Peacock now. Remember we were talking about the streaming services?
Yeah. Everything's
Now
on that.
everything's. I think it's on Peacock, but the Royal Rumble just happened. I'm like, if you told me as a child that we were poor.
Mhm.
I used to beg my parents, could we please get pay-per-view? It was like $60 or $80. That's a lot of money in the 90s. That was a lot.
It's a lot of money now, dude.
My parents, once in a blue moon, they would allow it, and my mom would I guess pay it or rent it, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Mhm.
Then everyone in the neighborhood would come to my house to watch it, and I
Nice.
felt like a fucking king.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
everyone's at my house watching the fucking wrestling, and it was, they said, the greatest moments of my life as a kid watching wrestling. We're all into that shit. Thank you, mom and dad. Rest in peace. Love you guys. I loved watching wrestling. That shit was the highlight of my life. I never felt so fucking cool in my
Hell yeah.
life.
Oh,
But
yeah.
now that it's on Peacock for free, I'm like, what the fuck? Why wasn't it like this when we
Yeah,
were
yeah,
kids?
yeah.
Like, I wouldn't have to beg my mom. But then again, I appreciated them more for going out of their way, even though it was fucking expensive. Because pay-per-view was, back then, a lot of people had the black box where it was like you'd pay some sketchy cable guy to give you unlimited pay-per-view or secret channels and
Mhm.
shit. You're young. You don't remember watching porno on the
I
on
do
the
not. I do
on
not.
the sketchy channel.
Nah.
When you watch cable back in the day, you'd switch through channels. Then there'd be like the Spice channel,
Mm-hmm.
and they would show Playboy or porn, like,
Mhm.
but it would be like blurry and like it would like be green and weird colors, and
Mhm.
you'd see a tit or a bush or something.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you'd, like,
yeah.
turn a jacket to that. I'll show you later. I'll show you an example later. But like, think about, you watch X videos, but it's
Yeah, yeah,
completely
yeah.
blurred and censored, and then your mom might walk in on you. So like,
Yeah.
it made it more exciting.
That was how I started with porn, because I was like, I remember I was watching I was like 10 years old, and I was watching a list of like band commercials, right? And they were all like extremely sexual. I was like, why am I getting bricked up watching these commercials, dude? And then through that, I found it, because like, I don't know if you remember this, YouTube just used to have just a bunch of like softcore porn. So you would just click on, like, you'd scroll down for like 5 seconds.
That's
and
that's Instagram now.
Yeah, on God, dude. It's like, I'm not even trying to find this shit, and it's just there.
Check this out. I think as long as you're a male, they put this shit in your algorithm.
100%.
Because listen, I told this to my wife. She's like, literally my Instagram, my search page. What do you call it?
The For You or whatever the fuck.
Like if you go to search and it just shows you, all it is camel toes,
Yep.
ass, titties. Listen, I do not search none of this shit, right?
Yeah.
I created the podcast Instagram, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't search nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't look at anything. Like, people add me, that's it. I'm not looking at anything. I don't go through the For You page or nothing on that. If I click on my For You page on my thing, it's all sluts.
Mm.
If I click on my For You page for the comedy podcast, the same shit. And I'm
Mm.
like, I'm not looking for this shit.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
liking
yeah.
any of this shit. Also, that's proof. Like, if you're a male, they just feed that shit to you.
100%. 100%.
On my For You page, it's a lot of women breastfeeding and shit like that. Like, I've never liked or looked at any of these
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
videos. But if you're a woman and you breastfeed, it's technically educational.
Yeah.
So they have women out there that like have fake babies, like OnlyFans
Mm.
girls, and they pull out their
Insane.
chi-chis.
Absolutely insane.
They put a fake baby to it so that they can legally do it and they can't be banned or some shit like that. But if I'll show you my For You page later, all it is breastfeeding.
We're just gonna trade For You pages. Who's that girl? Dude?
Hey,
Who's that?
it's breastfeeding Filipinos. Like, like I said, I did not search this shit. It's just there.
Yeah.
So it's like if I want to search somebody, like I'm gonna look you up right now. I
Yeah.
have to click on the search. It'll go to the For You page. All you see is breastfeeding Filipinos.
Yeah. No, I had a friend of mine. He went to rehab, and he told me, like, you know, they don't have phones there and everything, right? So they have like TVs though that would have YouTube on them, but they were all like age restricted or whatever. So you can't find anything like that on YouTube. So he would have to do that, where he would look up breastfeeding videos, and he would look up like twerking compilations, like from like when I was like,
Hey.
that was the original porn for me when I was like 12, dude. That was my black box, was fucking twerking
Hey,
compilations.
wrestling was mine. The divas from wrestling.
Okay.
Lydia, she was a Mexican wrestler. She hung out with the Hardy Boys.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know who they are.
Nah.
I said you're still young, but anyways, those dudes were fucking sick.
Mhm.
Lydia, she used to wear her thong like high, so she'd wear pants and you'd see her thong really high, and I'd just be like, "Whoa, what's that?" Like,
Yeah.
I'm used to seeing granny panties everywhere I go, and this chick had thongs, and I was just like, "Whoa!" Like, I used to freak out over the divas, but now that I look back, I'm like, what the fuck? Like they used to do like lingerie matches where they have like a bed in the middle of the ring, and the girls would be like in booty shorts or thongs, and they would like fight each other. I'm like, what is this shit?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they're not even wrestling; they're just hot chicks that look hot. That's it, you know.
But that's why, like, because like I mean, pre like internet porn, right? Like, yeah, that's like the porn you were getting was kind of from TV and from movies. So like that's why like there's no erotic movies anymore, right? Like Fatal Attraction, nobody would give a shit about seeing Sharon Stone's pussy because you could just go up and look at 100 pussies online, like right now, you know?
they say that we now have seen more naked women than anyone in history. Like
100%.
like a king in the 1800s.
Yeah.
He had 1,000 wives. We've seen more pussies than he has.
And none of them have stunk, dude. Think about it, like you got to think about like how, because they were people like, so they were talking about in like medieval England, they're talking about people like they would not shower for so long their clothes would be stuck to their skin, you know?
How did oral sex ever happen? Because
oh my god,
who was sucking a never washed vagina or
Yeah.
penis? Like, but then again, like they say, I used to live in Chino, and you never get used to the smell. Like, or you work in a restaurant, you supposedly you get used to the smell, but like maybe they just didn't. Imagine everybody smelled bad. It's normal.
No, nobody. So if everybody smells bad, nobody smells
It's
bad.
normal.
Yeah.
So like now women have their fucking 10 pounds of perfume, and then oh yeah, she smells good, but back then everybody smelled bad.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why it didn't matter.
Yeah, they're like, what do you mean she's dirty? She showered 2
Listen,
weeks ago, dude. What are you talking about?
I had an argument with my friend's dad in high school. He was like, "Oh, I love Bush, big Bush."
Mhm.
We're early 2000s. That's when shaved was in. We're like,
Yeah. Shave, no ass, giant tits.
he's like Bush. We're like shaved. So back then it's probably like the more it smells, the better.
Yeah.
You know, like it's all you know. You know?
That was the original Bush debate, dude.
It's like imagine if okay, they say if dudes who like shaved vaginas are pedos or weirdos. Like nah, I just don't like it smelling.
No, I understand that. For me, it's right. It's like I think so. Okay, if I'm going out with a girl that I don't know, I don't care bush, no bush. However, if I'm dating a girl, I want her to have a bush because, as they say, grass does not grow on a busy street. You know.
Hey, even if she has a bush, there's another dude that says the same fucking thing. He don't give a fuck, you know.
Yeah, that's true. No,
Hey.
I feel like oh fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say. Damn it, I'm sorry. You go.
I just don't like hair in my food. All right.
All right, that's real. No, I was gonna talk about in medieval England, right? Like, cause yeah, they wouldn't shower for so long. When the Vikings first came over during that kind of age of expansion, right? The Vikings would shower at least once a week, right? They would just brush their hair, and so when they came over, all the girls were like going to them because they were like, oh my god, this guy showers, you know? So the dudes in England, like, they're taking our women, you know, these Scandinavian dudes. Like, no, they just know how to take a bath, dude. Like you have like there's like nacho cheese on your dick, dude. That's why they're doing
Did you
this.
see how like back then how the restrooms were back then, like in castles, like they would like just basically there was like a kind of like you just shit and it just falls outside the castle, and then they had like a sponge and water, and it was like a community thing. You would take like this sponge with water,
Oh,
and you
yes,
wipe
yes,
your
yes.
ass.
Yeah,
They didn't
yeah.
have toilet papers.
Yeah.
They just wiped their ass with a sponge that 20 other dudes
Yeah,
used
yeah,
before
yeah.
you. Like,
And there was no stalls in between it either, right? So they were just in a public bathroom of 20 toilets, just like right now, you and me 2,000 years ago could be doing this podcast while shitting. Like the distance this.
you know what's crazy is that like in China right now, like they don't have toilets. You just
Yeah,
shit in the
dude, yeah.
ground. Like, how could you squat like that to take a shit? Like, I'm not flexible. I'm older now. I have bad knees. If I had to squat and shit on a hole in the ground, I would just fall. Like in Mexico too, they don't have toilet seats.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a bare bowl.
Huh.
Think about your toilet right now, right?
Yeah.
Minus the seat.
Yeah.
There's just a bowl. Like,
So you kind of just got to hover, basically.
no, you sit on the bare bowl. Like,
Oh.
I don't fucking, and like I said, in China or whatever, you shit into the hole in the ground. But like, I want to live in 2025 where I want a bidet. I
Yeah.
want to get a bidet. Like, I know like a lot of people talk about it, but I want to try one, like just to see what it's like. Like,
I tried it. It's not as gay as they would make it sound.
my only question is, how do you keep it clean? Because the little hose that shoots water out, what if
Mhm.
you like diarrhea and it just sprays on that thing, you know? And then the next person comes to use it and your diarrhea is on the hose. Like, how clean is
It's just
it?
like it's like a cyclical
'Cause it's
ecosystem.
like a hose that just disperses water, right? Like,
Yeah.
so what if you shit rocket all over? Someone's watching this podcast right now, like, what the?
Yeah.
fuck?
Yeah.
some girls. Hey, sorry, ladies. This is my podcast. We talk
This
about
is
what the fuck we want.
Have you checked like your demographics like on Spotify? and
It's
stuff?
all men.
It's all male. It's like 84. I think mine is like 96%.
I've had a
male,
few
so-
females on here, but the conversations don't go these ways. I'm a gentleman. When there's women here, I'm a gentleman.
Of course,
Like,
of course.
But we're dudes talking shit. That's what I love about my podcast. Is like we barely know each other. We met a few times,
Yeah.
right? I just talk, we bullshit. This
Yeah.
is it. I try to create a comfortable environment where we can just be us, you know?
Yeah.
We're just two dudes shooting the shit, drinking some beers, having
Yeah,
a
hell
good
yeah.
time, you know? Like I don't have a script.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the fuck we talked about. We talked about nothing the whole time. Like
That's the best. I love that. I love that.
Johnny Gold's like, you guys better talk about comedy. We've been going back and forth, like comedy, random bullshit.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
but whatever. I don't give a fuck.
I'll talk about comedy. I'll say something nice about like I guess about Johnny Gold, but I guess about people like in general, right? So like I was kind of thinking about this on the way over here as like a topic to talk about because I was thinking about because I remember we did that show for Maury, right? And I will say what I like about Maury is like even though because there's a certain kind of person, right? In like comedy where like they'll be like marginally more successful than you and they will talk to you like you're like not human.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous. But like to his credit, right? And to Johnny, I think Johnny Gold's kind of similar where he's really well known and really popular and he's always been nothing but nice to me, dude. And I love being at a restaurant with him. I love like we'll be at like an open mic and he'll just talk in the middle of it. No whisper. He'll just lean over like this guy sucks.
That's how I've met him.
Yeah.
I was sitting next to him. He's like, "Who the fuck's this guy on stage?" And I was like,
Love him,
I don't know who Johnny was. He just sat
I
next
love
to
him,
me,
dude.
and then that continued his story. But that's how I met him. Just
But no,
doing-
basically, and like I think Maury's the same way. Where it's even though he's out there definitely making more moves than me, like definitely like you know like me doing more shows, he's still been like nothing but nice to me. So I guess I gotta appreciate both of them for that, you know?
like I said, he's put me on two big shows.
Yeah.
I just didn't like the last one because there was kids there. But
it's weird.
he apologized, and I'm not holding it against him. But I just rather not have kids around, you know? Like,
Yeah.
But he does put on good shit. Like he puts on huge shows. Like he's like thinking up here, you know? Like
Yeah.
I like him. He's funny. I met him at the Ontario Improv open mic, and then out of nowhere, he gave
Dude,
me
same.
he gave me the opportunity. I respect him. I want to have him on here. Like I have so many people that I've fucking supposed to get around to. Like this shit's you podcast, right? But
Yeah.
you don't have any guests on your shit, do you?
Not yet. We're waiting till we can get the camera fully set up to start doing guests.
Well, my camera is from Amazon. It's like $100-something. You don't need fancy cameras. Like your lighting is important. In the past episodes, the lighting was terrible. I got some semi new lighting. I'm gonna
Mhm.
probably buy another one of these. I got this on Amazon.
Hell yeah.
It's pretty fucking.
That's Amazon. This all from Prime, dude.
sick. But I'm gonna eventually get the lighting right in here. But the lighting, it's in my bedroom. The lighting, my wife, that light right there. It was like out of a movie. You see how it's missing the cover?
Yeah.
Like out of a movie. Like one time she went to turn the light off and like she pulled it too hard
Mm-hmm.
and the thing fell and broke over her head.
Oh, dude.
So like right now it's kind of too bright because it's missing the cover.
yeah,
So like
yeah.
it kind of throws the lighting setting in this room off. But I just remember when that shit happened to her, I saw her pull the thing and it just fell and busted.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
like some Home Alone
Yeah,
shit.
like a Christmas story or something.
And then like I tried to find the cover for it and I can't find it. So I might have to just end up replacing the whole thing. But I'm like, fuck that. I'm not
no,
I'm
just
not gonna pay to replace it. Just fucking leave it. So I apologize. My lighting might not be as great as other podcasts, but if you can get a decent camera and decent lighting, you're straight. Like all this shit is ghetto in here. I've upgraded slowly, but like well, I'm new to this shit. You're new to your shit.
Yeah,
Just take your
100%.
time. You know, like I told somebody about this. It's not about the quality. It's about the quantity of your thing. Did I say that right? Like my content, like us talking, the
Mhm.
conversation.
this is what's important.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck if you're like I said. If you watch Joe Rogan back in the day, he was in in his house,
Yeah,
shitty
yeah.
camera. Look at him now.
Yeah.
But respect to you, but I am going to be IE's #1 comedy podcast. I've joked about this before. I don't give a fuck. I tell everybody else it's in my fucking head. I'm about
No,
to
hell yeah.
IE's number. Where do you guys podcast out of?
Out of Riverside. But that's like, I mean, I think I do think I think like people in the IE are like the Inland Empire is finally starting to maybe get a little bit of traction entertainment.
That's why I
Finally.
say this so that I could put us on the map.
Yeah.
So that people can be like, why I use #1 comedy podcast? Fuck that guy, you know. And then
Yeah.
then they're gonna watch, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
like
yeah.
good publicity, bad publicity. But I'm fucking around. I like everybody. Like
Yeah, no.
I watched a few of your shit. I like your guys' concept is amazing because I love movies.
Mhm.
What you guys talking about movies and shit. I would like to do some shit. Like this episode, we talked about movies a lot.
No,
you know?
we'll have you on the pod. I have like a whole list of people like that are like, you know,
Well, I'm telling you, this camera was gifted to me. It was a cheap Amazon. It's probably like $100 camera.
hell yeah.
It does the job. No one gives a fuck. Like,
Yeah.
I like to watch podcasts. I said eventually I will get a better camera, but like I focused on the audio because the audio sucked. I had donated fucking shit. I finally put money into this. Eventually, I'm gonna get proper lighting cameras, but
Yeah.
I'm still new to this shit. You know, I'm like, I think this is episode 12.
Yeah.
So
And no, I mean, because so kind of what you said, like to me at this point, this is a sort of quantity over quality business, right? Where for me, it's like when I write jokes, like I will write 5 jokes and like one of them is salvageable. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing with the podcast, right? Where it's like, for me, it's like we're on episode 7, right? You're on episode 12. I promise you, when you're at, you know, episode 100, you're
Exactly.
going to be at a different place than you were on episode 12, you know?
I'm still trying to figure out the mic setting. Sometimes my mic's too far, too close, and I'm like, I'm still getting used to this because nobody taught me this shit. You know,
Yeah.
like I went on one other podcast. Shout out to the Mind Buzz, and then this is it. I've been doing the rest by myself. I don't know what to do. I've had to like reach out to people. Like I had a producer in the beginning, the first few episodes, but like this shit didn't work out. So I was like, I'm gonna do this on my own. It's all trial and error, you know. Like,
Yeah.
trying to figure this shit out. But I love this shit. I love talking to people. I love giving you a platform,
Thank you,
giving me a
brother.
platform. Like, I like communicating with people. Like, I go to mics and shit. I don't really know people too well, and this is a way for me to get to know people. Give you a fucking audience. Give me an audience. So, thank you for coming. I love your podcast. I love the idea. That's fucking sick. I hope you guys. I want to give you some more recs. Like, I said, you look into the wild. I mean, sorry, the Our Gang. Like, you guys should do conspiracy episodes, like dark Hollywood shit too, because you guys do movies, right?
We're doing JFK, and you ever seen JFK?
Which
Oliver
one?
Stone.
Maybe the
It's
one
a whole-
in
you-
the 90s, right?
If you're into conspiracy, I'm not like a huge conspiracy guy, but you would love it. It's a great movie if you're into conspiracies.
But you guys should go down, like, I know I said you like movies. You guys want to talk about movies?
Yeah.
Do the dark side or do whatever. You know, like switch it up. You know, like I think that would be sick if you do the dark side of Hollywood. Because I'm telling you, the Our Gang shit, that would be a very interesting episode.
Okay.
Look into it. There's documentaries about it. You can talk about it, but like, it's not even just that. Like, even The Wizard of Oz. My wife's a Wizard of Oz fan.
Oh, that was a fucking disaster.
I said
dude.
it's same shit. And there was another movie. I forget. I think Spielberg was in a movie where like little kids died. They were like filming a Vietnam movie.
Oh no, okay. I know when they were filming the Twilight Zone movie, there was like a helicopter accident.
Yeah. I thought that was a Vietnam movie.
I'm trying to think of it. Vietnam. I don't know.
I thought it was a war movie. It might be Twilight. I don't know, but this was back. Like I said, the whole child labor. Like back then, Hollywood, there was no safety this, safety that. Like they hired a bunch of little kids, and then an explosion happened for a helicopter, and it fucking murdered a bunch of kids.
Damn.
Like, so you know that's the story I'm talking about. The helicopter accident.
Did it kill the kids? Died in that?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought it was just like a dude.
No, there was children.
Damn.
I said I think it was like some type of war movie they were filming, and children on set died. Like I'm telling you,
Yeah.
look into. Like I said, you want to talk about movies? Talk about the dark side of Hollywood. There's very many. Like I said, The Wizard of Oz,
Yeah.
the Our Gang, Little Rascals, the Spielberg. He tries to discredit himself from that movie. Like he doesn't want no part. of it.
Yeah.
But
He's like Dewey Cox, dude.
Spielberg was in that fucking movie. He produced it or did some shit. He was a part of that film. But after that accident, he was just like, nah, I'm not in that.
Yeah. Do you know who Werner Herzog is?
No.
He's like a filmmaker. He's kind of like an art house guy, right? But so he used to work with this actor named Klaus Kinski, and Klaus Kinski was like legitimately insane. Like he was diagnosed as like a psychopath, right? But he was like a really good actor. And but they were filming a movie in South America, right? Like they're filming, it's got Aguirre, The Wrath of God, and they're filming this movie. And so he would just go on like these tangents about like bullshit. Like he would be like, you know, like somebody would like bring him the wrong sandwich, and he's like, "You can eat the shit out of my ass." Like the subtitle, it's insane. And eventually, because they were filming with like real, like, you know, like uncontacted tribes, right, in South America, and they went to Werner Herzog and they were like, "Hey, do you want us to kill him for you? We could kill him if you want."
You know, it's crazy. The movie, though, it's something with your podcast, you can go so many rabbit holes. The movie, The Warriors.
Ooh, yeah, good one.
They talked about they filmed in L.A. They had to hire legitimate L.A. gang members to protect the movie set because other gangs didn't like them on their territory.
Interesting.
So they hired on the film set, or when they were filming in LA, they hired legitimate gangs as security to protect them from other local. Because LA gangs, that's the movie's about.
Yeah.
Gangs. It's based off the LA gangs, and then they literally had to hire legitimate LA gangs to protect the fucking cast, the crew
Yeah.
from other gangs. I'm telling you, your podcast is fucking. The idea is good because I'm telling you, right now that's not my podcast, but I can give you so many fucking ideas.
Yeah, no, please.
I want to give you one more movie rec. This
All
is
right.
a dark movie, but I love this movie. I watched this movie in high school, but Angela's Ashes. Have you ever heard of that movie?
No.
This is a dark movie. It's like the Great Depression times.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what country it's in. It's fucking dark. It's funny. Like there's so many crazy shit, but talk about this one. This is one movie I want to recommend. Angela's Ashes.
Okay.
But anyways, all right, we're about like hour and 34 minutes, so we're
Hell
gonna
yeah,
wrap
yeah.
this up.
All right,
So,
wrap it up, yeah.
all right, guys, we're gonna wrap this up tonight. So tell the audience where they can find you.
Yeah, hell yeah. You can find me at Riley Day Sunny on Instagram. I'm at Let 'Em Watch Podcast. I'm usually at the Amazing Comedy Theater on Saturdays, so you can catch me like anywhere there. But yeah, thank you for having me on this.
Do you have any shows coming up or anything?
I will. So I don't have a show. However, I will. In addition to this, I will be on the number 2 IE podcast. I will be on Three Guys One Booth by Timmy Maldonado.
Hey, shout out Timmy. I told him I want him on here, and he's like, "Oh, why don't you come on?" Like
I
I
love
said,
Timmy,
we
dude.
just haven't done. I like Timmy too. He's cool, but shout out Three Guys One Booth.
Yeah, shout out.
His podcast is funny. I like it.
Yeah, no, they're cool.
Shout out to Rick Bravo. We did a collab episode. Maybe
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
maybe me and Timmy will do a collab episode too.
All right, hell yeah.
It's easier, you know.
Yeah.
'Cause he's like, come on mine. I'm like, you come on mine. I'm like, let's just fucking cross paths.
Yeah.
I said this basically was our crossing
Yeah,
paths
kind
because
of. Yeah.
we had a lot of your concepts to the movie. I'm saying I love that fucking idea. That's just good shit, you know. Like I love movies. I'm a big movie buffs, but anyways, you could follow me on my personal Instagram, AndyC_comedy, and then you can follow us on the Crimson Comedy Show
yeah.
podcast, YouTube, Spotify. All right, guys, thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having
Hey,
me. bro.
cheers, homie.
Yeah, cheers.
I have to fucking piss so bad.
Me too.
Honestly, I could have kept this conversation going. Like, I'm telling you, I love your podcast idea. But anyways, we'll have you back here. Thank you guys. Good night.
Hell yeah.